Hello chess friends and welcome to Azarov's chess channel and welcome to my series playing d4. So I'm gonna continue with this Queen's Gambit accepted, and today I wanted to show you this Janowski Larsen variation in this Queen's Gambit accepted. So this line is a very aggressive line. Black is trying to pin you here on the knight on f3. So I'm gonna show you what's all about and what are your threats and your possibilities while playing as white. So here we have again d4 and now d5. Here knight on f3, knight on f6 is the different move order, but again after c4 we have d takes c4, and it meets with our two videos that I've already created with this knight on f3 situation. And now we have here e3, and now your opponent tries bishop on g4. So he does the pin situation here, and of course he will try fast development with e6, maybe bishop on e7, and then after that, after castling, the move c5 and breakthrough here in the center, and try of course to attack the d4, which is also defended by the knight. So this bishop to g4 is sort of an indirect attack on this pawn on d4. So what I don't recommend you is here to try maybe to go h3, and then if your opponent goes bishop on h5 to go g4, then he can go simply g6, and you see he has possibilities maybe to go with the bishop on e4 or close the position on like squares with moves as e6, again with the same idea, bishop on e7 and after castling and stuff like that. Meanwhile, I want you to realize that you have already created weaknesses around your king, and again the possibilities of black to play move c5 will really challenge your very firm center. So I simply don't like this line here after bishop on c4 and e6. I recommend you to move queen on b3. So you see we get out of the spin, and we have also attacked the b7 pawn. So black will basically in this line probably he will take the knight on f3. So of course you cannot take now this pawn on b7, which would be great of course, but now here g takes on f3, and now knight from b to d7. So of course black can try here to defend this pawn, but queen takes on b7 isn't so good because you get a rook on b8, and then after that after a couple of tempos, well, black will gain a very nice activity with his pieces, and then he can again try this pawn breakthrough here with the move c5 and really challenging your center, and he will basically have all of his pieces on the attack, of course, after rook on b8, and you have only developed your bishop and the queen, and this would be a really nice attack by black. So here I don't recommend you to take the b7, just go and continue your development, and here after bishop on e7, now to play e4. So we're waiting sort of this move c5. If c5 comes, then we have this d5 possibilities, and after e takes d5, then you can simply recapture with your knight, and if of course the knight recaptures on d5, then you simply take it with the bishop and continue the game with this very nice diagonal on the like squares, and of course with this very nice attack on the square f7. So here I wanted to show you a game in this line. It was played by Alexander Chernyaev against Mark Lyle, and here black tried knight on b6. And you see this knight has already played twice here on d7, and then after that on b6. So here white simply continued the development without even bothering that black is trying to take out the slide square bishop. Knight takes on c4, queen takes on c4. So now black castle, and now white castle. So okay, we have here this double pawn situation on the f file, but well, white has now a really nice central control. You see c5 now isn't possible anymore because you simply take d takes c5, and here also other possibilities to somehow break your center are not so good because you can simply recapture, or you can simply go forward, and black is a little bit paralyzed here with this knight and the bishop. He doesn't have good squares. And here we have the possibility to play on the G file, which Alexander Chanyar very well played. He played after C6, now king on H1. Queen on A5 was played, and now rook on G1. We have here created a very nice attack on the G file. So here black tried queen on H5, and now rook on G3. Knight on d7 and rook on g1, of course doubling the rooks here on the g file, and here black tried g6, and now white tries queen on f1, of course with the preparation to play rook on h3 and really create a very nice attack on the g and h file. So here black tried rook on d8, and now white finds a very nice move, knight on d5. So you see this knight on d5 is forcing black to recapture either with the c pawn or with the e pawn. Of course you don't want to take with the queen, and if that happens, if something takes here the knight, then the queen wouldn't have good squares. So that was happening in the game. C takes d5, and now rook on h3 attacking the queen. The queen doesn't have any squares, so the bishop has to come and help here with bishop on h4. But now white simply played rook on g4 with the double attack on the h4 bishop. So here of course g4 isn't so good, because you can simply here take with your queen or recapture with the bishop here on g5. Multiple possibilities. So here black tries d takes e5, e4. We have rook takes on h4, queen on d5, and now f takes e4, queen takes on a2, and now rook takes on h7. Very nice attack on the king. Here black tries knight on f6, and here again rook on h4, queen on b2, and now of course the queen comes here on this g file. Black tries the attack here on this e4 square. So here white finds this very nice tactics. He played first queen on g5, and after knight on h5, here of course he took out the knight. But now black tried maybe this perpetual check, but it's not good, because after king on g2 we have queen on e4, and now the king can go here on g3, and there are no checks possible anymore. So black tried here at least f6, but now here rook on h8, and this is of course a winning game for white. So okay, we saw now the whole game, but here after e6 I wanted to memorize this move, queen on b3, and really challenging black to take your knight on f3. Okay, you will have double pawn, but I think with this bishop pair you're perfectly fine. So let's see now another example. Here after d4 d5 c4 and d takes c4, knight on f3, which I again recommend you, knight on f6, then e3, now bishop on g4, bishop takes on c4, again e6, queen on b3, bishop on f3, g takes on f3, and now knight from b to d7, which is a preparation to play immediately c5. And of course if you don't react, then your opponent will simply take let's see a possible line. Maybe you can go a knight on c3, and now c5, and maybe now you castle. You see your opponent will simply recapture the pawn here, and after e takes d4, you see you will have this very weak pawn structure. So keep that in mind while playing this line. This is black's idea to create this very annoying pawn structure around the king, so don't do that. Of course here after knight from b to d7, knight on c3, and now c5, here I recommend the move d5. So simply go forward. Here was played e takes d5, knight takes on d5, and this is a game. Now it was played by Bartosz Soczko against Joanna Maidan, and here black tries rook on b8 with the preparation to play maybe the move b5, and then after that maybe some pinning situation with the a6. But now white simply continued and fixed the position with e4. Here we have bishop on d6 and now bishop on g5. I hope you realize that white has very nice activity with his pieces. The knight is on the central square, the bishop is also on the nice square, and here we have a nice battery with the queen and the bishop on this light square diagonal with, of course, this sort of discovered attack on the king. So here black tried queen on a5, bishop on d2, of course again challenging the queen. Queen on d8 was again played, and now bishop on c3. So white used here a tempo to develop his bishop again on a very nice diagonal. So here knight on e5 was played, and here bishop on b5 with a check, king on f8, and now queenside castle. I again pointing you out here that black fixed the position on the dark squares, but white has really nice piece activity. Again, the possibility to create maybe attacks on the g file. Here we have this sort of discovered attack on the queen. Again, this light square bishop is on an active square. Very nice activity. So here black tried a6, but now white played the counterplay here with move f4. Knight on g4 was played, and now e5. A takes b5. Here knight takes on f6, g takes on f6, and now rook takes on d6. Queen on c8, rook on d1, simply queen on f5, and here white simply took out the pawn on f6. You see these dark square problems now around the king. Queen on f4 was played, king on b1, and now rook on e8, and white simply took the pawn. You see these are really two weak pawns. This pawn is very well protected, and here after queen on e4, king on a1 is the position where black resigned, and of course you see white can also occupy the 7th rank. After taking the c5, he can maybe creating check threats here on b4, again with possibilities to go on the g file, and I hope this is I think this is really winning position for white. So let's see now again this line which I wanted to memorize here. After knight on f3, knight on f6, e6, and now bishop on g4, bishop takes on c4, e6, and now queen on b3 with this attack on b7, which is forcing your opponent to take the bishop on the knight on f3, pardon me. And here after bishop takes on f3, now just watch out this possibility of black to play c5. You have to develop your knight here on c3 in order after c5 to have another protector on d5, because you don't want to recapture, of course, with your bishop, which is your main advantage in this game. I hope you realized these possibilities and the threats in this Janowski line, and meanwhile you can watch my other Queen's Gambit accepted videos, and of course you can subscribe to my channel. Thanks you for watching, and chess is the best, of course.